You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is, let me check. That's right. Tuesday, 15th day of August, 2017. Now, some people, such as Michael and Karen, had some issues getting logged in, and all you have to do is try again. Try again, because I got the same message myself the first try. Apparently there was a hitch in the server over at GoToWebinar, which makes it extremely important for you to know that whenever that happens, you, not Michael, but anyone in the audience, can simply go to, hang on, you can go to youtube.com/CFRN, And once it shows up and running, you can throw in a /live, or you can just click up in the left hand corner where it says live, and you'll have access to the show without the need for GoToWebinar. So you're never left out in the cold. How about that? I'm just double checking the YouTube feed right now to make sure that it's up and running. And yes, there's folks in the audience. Hello to you all. Okay. So let me send Michael a text. Oh, he just sent me a message.
I'm in.
Oh, you're in? Okay.
I'm in. Yep, I just got in.
So yeah, they had some glitch apparently in their server, and so I got that the first time I went to log in, and the second time it just scampered right on in. So
good.
Just letting folks know that there's 2 ways to join the show. And if you ever have a problem with the GoToWebinar access, just go to youtube.com/CFRN/live, and as long as the show is up and running and is live, you'll see the screen, you'll see the chat box, and you got it all. Okay, so from the home page, if you want to go the GoToWebinar route, just click the big microphone on the right hand side. It'll take you to a page that says watch live now. Click that, follow the instructions, and you'll be able to join the show most days with 1-click access for the remainder of the month, because they kindly send you an email 1 hour before the show starts, reminding you the show starts at noon, and as you're ready to join the show, you simply click. You simply click. 1-click access. But, you know, every now and then there's a hiccup, and today obviously they had one. Let's look at the numbers around the world. It is a world of a different color today than it was yesterday. Start here in the US of A. The Dow is down almost 2 points. Not a big deal, just flat. NASDAQ down a little over 5 points. S&P 500, these are cash markets, down 1.5 points. And the Russell 2000 down about 8.5 points. In the commodity basket, crude oil is down 17 cents, trading 47.42 last. And we will be getting crude inventories tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Gold, 3rd day in a row we've traded down. Down today, $11.60, trading 1270.880 last. That's almost 1%. Now we asked yesterday in regards to this $1,300 mark, has gold stepped into the shoes of always being a bridesmaid and never being a bride? Wow. After today, I may have spoken a prophecy there, so we'll keep an eye on it. Water seeks its own level. Now, a different color of the day in Asia, the Nikkei actually closed up today, 216 points, which is a little over 1%. The Shanghai closed up over 14 points. It's almost half of 1%. And the Hang Seng, after some really big days, was pretty quiet, down just 75 points. And that takes us to the European markets, which were quiet but positive. FTSE closed up 29 points, almost half of 1%. DAX was up 12 points, and the CAC closed up 18, and that is it. Europe green wall to wall. Asia green with the exception of the Hang Seng, and things here at home are red, but all pretty close to the flat line with the exception of the Russell. So we could see these markets go green this afternoon before the markets close. Now, the big headline staring us in the face today, I'm going to share that with you real quick. For all President Trump's recent fire and fury rhetoric toward North Korea, he seems to have accurately assessed Kim Jong-un's unwillingness to provoke the U.S. with a missile test near Guam and call the North Korean leader on his bluff. After escalating exchanges between Kim and Trump led to a promise by North Korea to provide Kim in mid-August with a plan to test missiles near Guam, reports on Monday night indicated that North Korea was backing away from its threats against the U.S. territory. Well, Mr. Trump, by golly. While Kim could act later, he faces an uphill battle carrying out his show of force, even without a threat of a U.S. response. Though experts on diplomacy and North Korea knocked Trump for his recent rhetoric, which sounded a bit like the propaganda that comes out of Pyongyang, Yoon Sun, a senior associate at the Stimson Center, told Business Insider that Trump's bluster didn't change much in terms of broad strategic issues. The Hwasong-12 missile North Korea said it would use has been tested just 4 times, with only 1 success in May. Experts contacted noted that North Korea's statement was full of conditional clauses and said it most likely indicated that Kim was just bluffing. Even if the missiles, re-entry vehicles, and guidance systems worked perfectly, which would be a stretch, according to Secretary, de-escalatory tone, Sun said Tuesday morning, today. Indeed, North Korea's latest statement calls for the U.S. to stop provocations and accuses the U.S. of pushing the Korean peninsula to the brink of war. At the same time, Sun said, North Korea and the U.S. are maintaining a pretty regular and open channel of exchanges through the New York Channel, an unofficial line of communication between the two countries that gets shut off during more terse exchanges. Importantly, North Korea has shown it has some understanding of Trump at this point. Sun said the real danger in Trump's fiery rhetoric was that North Korea may misread him and launch a preemptive strike on the U.S. or even South Korea. Sun said that while Trump had degraded himself and the U.S. by engaging in North Korea-like rhetoric, what, if you shoot at us, you're going to regret it? I mean, come on. And risk his credibility by issuing threats of his own on which he did not follow through. Well, okay. She thought his bluster had its biggest impact on domestic U.S. politics and not on the military situation in the Koreas. But North Korea's inexperience and apparent inability in staging the kind of crippling attack it would seek to open a conflict with the U.S. and its allies, combined with its overriding concern for regime security, seem to have halted its threat to Guam, while it continues to consider diplomatic or de-escalatory paths. So, sounds to me like the schoolyard bully has said, uh-oh, this guy just might mean business, and maybe we might just oughta chill. I think they should, really. I mean, we've said from the beginning, what in the world could possibly possess them to think? I mean, I've been to Korea. To South Korea, not North Korea, but I've been there. And for as deranged as he is, and if you've never taken the time to spend a little bit of time reading up on what goes on inside of North Korea, I mean, they truly live within their own little world, and it's almost as if they are still living in a time gone by, from their movies to their TV, to their cocktail parties, to the upper class, to the lower class. It is, there's a really interesting book that was written by two South Korean actors who were kidnapped a number of years ago by North Korea and held there as birds in gilded cages. They were brought out for cocktail parties and paraded around the elite to impress, and the rest of the time they spent in their gilded cages until they gained the trust of Kim Jong's dad to the point where he allowed them to actually leave North Korea to go put on a show in some other country. And yes, given the first opportunity, they had been there, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years, but this was their first opportunity to flee to a foreign embassy, and guess what they did? They got the heck out of town. And he has since passed. I can't remember either of their names, but she did an interview on NPR not too very long ago. If you Google up some of what I just said, you'll find it, and you'll get to the NPR interview, and you'll be quite fascinated to hear what goes on there, what these people went through, and then there's so much more. But enough of that for now. Let's go to Michael, get a recap of what happened in the live training room today. Michael, are you ready?
I am ready. Here we go. There.
We got it loud and clear.
All right.
It's all yours.
Excellent. I will start now. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, the 15th day of August, 2017. All right, to take our free trial, if you have not taken a free trial in the last 6 months, to take our free trial, go to the home page here at cfrn.net. And when you do go to the home page, this banner is going to drop down right here at the top. It says sign up for the CFRN live training room. 100% free trial. User indicators, learn our strategy. Click here. When you click there, then you just need to give us your first name, your email, and your phone number. Click on register now. When you do that, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click that confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click the link, well, we don't know you took the trial. Okay. The spreadsheet. Oh, where is it? Here it is. We had probably our worst day of the year today, guys. I will show it all to you in just a minute. 6, 7, 8. Here it is. We lost 8 ticks in soybeans, made 6 ticks in the euro. We lost 16 ticks. 16 ticks in crude and 8 ticks in gold. So we were down 302.50. I can't put my glasses on. But it does help. We're down 302.50. We took 8 trades today, and we never got our goal for the day. Okay. So on the month now, we're at 1305. That's over 11 days, averaging 118 per day. And on the year, we're at 22,840. That's over 152 days, averaging 150 per day. Now, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you're going to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Okay, so let's go through what we did or didn't do today. Okay, there was a momentum long trade right here that we missed. There was another one right here that we got to break even on. And there was another one right here that we stopped out on. And that was it for the gold today. I was telling people in the room that I thought once the European markets closed, we might get some action, and it looks like we didn't get any. It moved up, but there was no trade set up in there that you could execute. Okay, that was on gold. Now, the euro. On the euro, right here was a momentum short trade that I missed. Right here was a break even, momentum trade again. And right here was a regular slingshot trade, close above the trend line type. We got 6 ticks profit on that. We didn't do this over here because we had dynamic resistance right up above. Okay, dynamic resistance right up above. Boy, it looks like a lot of people are having trouble getting in today. Not just me and you. And that was it. Well, actually, there was a momentum. No, there was not. There was not. And that was pretty much it on the morning. Okay. Crude oil, we stopped out twice. We had, excuse me, that's pre-market. We missed this short right here, 936. We got a break even right there. We stopped out there, and then we stopped out here. Now, if you entered this trade exactly at the close of the bar at 47.30, it pulled back 7 ticks. 7 ticks, not 8. And then over here, you should have moved your stop to break even. Right over here. I know you may not have, excuse me, I don't know what. Okay, over here, you should have moved your stop to break even. If you did not, then you would have stopped all the way out right here. And after that, it was just flat right in here. And turn the break. There was just this bounce off the BBC right here. Was the only thing during the break. Okay. Yeah, that was the only thing during the break. Right now, it's actually got a momentum long trade right here happening at 47.52. Okay. On the soybeans, that was yesterday. We had this one stop out pretty much to the tick, and then it continued down. Now, those 2 stop outs here on crude, this, if you didn't stop out, it should have been a break even. And this one came down, stopped us out pretty much to the tick, and then did what it should have done. So the markets today, we're just not agreeing with our risk. And this ES over here would have been, this was the only spot. Right? Was this yesterday or today? That was a momentum short trade today. And then there was a bounce off the BBC here that would have gone to break even right there and been a break even trade. But look how narrow the ES is trading here. It's just a mess. Okay. So on the day, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 15th of August. We lost 8 ticks in soybeans. We made 6 ticks in the euro. We lost 16 ticks in crude, and we lost 8 ticks in gold. That's minus 302.50. Minus 302.50. We took 8 trades today. So on the month now, 1305 gross. That's over 11 days, averaging 118 per day. On the year, 22,840. That's over 152 days, averaging 150.
I'm about to show you how you can make...
We got a little less than 100 days left to the year. That's where all that stands. All right, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page here at cfrn.net, and up here at the top, sign up for the CFRN Live Training Room 100% free trial. Where it says click here, just click there. Put in your name, put in your email, put in your phone number, click register now. You'll be sent a confirmation link, and then you'll be able to get into the room. Okay. Excuse me. That is all I have for now. There is one thing though. Can somebody just type something in, like hi or hello world, or something into the chat box, so I can paste the link to the meeting. Anybody? Just type something. It doesn't matter what. Because I can't paste the link in here unless you do. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Here, this is the link to the meeting.
I'm about to show you how you can make...
At 1:15. That is the 1:15 meeting. All right. So We'll go over stuff in that meeting that we don't do in the live training room in the morning. Okay? All right. With that, we can send it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. Studio A, overlooking the nation's largest city park.
That was pretty close.
I'm getting there. I am getting there. Man. Okay.
All right, buddy. Got it. Thanks so much.
Okay. All right.
Can you send an email to this guy that just sent the ticket in?
Yep. I got it.
Alrighty. Thanks so much. Okay. We got a couple clicking arounds to do here really quick. Okay, that's that one. And there's that one. And this one. Thought I had already clicked. Oh, you know, we should talk about that too. So let me go ahead and get that clicked. Now, Goldman Sachs, you should be aware, after Friday's show and after what happened over the weekend. Friday, we interviewed Tyler Evans, who's the CTO of BTC Media and Bitcoin Magazine. Bitcoin was trading at $3,500 over the weekend. We took out 4,000. Yep, a $500 move from the time we spoke to Tyler to sometime late Saturday, early Sunday morning. Now, Goldman Sachs is predicting, and love them or hate them, and there's an awful lot of reasons for both, but they're predicting a top at $5,000, at which time we'll see a retracement all the way back to $2,200. Now, the thing to remember, Bitcoin is not the only game in town. Now, the gentleman behind McAfee, the guy that went a little wacko a while back, he came out with a pretty interesting statement today. He said that, you know, people are putting so much dollar value on these various digital currencies. You know, Bitcoin's worth this, it's worth $3,500, it's going to sell 4,000, then it's going to see 5,000. He said that none of that is relevant. In the new world in which we are entering, the fact that it is a decentralized currency, that there is the ability for distribution, terms that some of us may not understand. It was like, the example he used was like if you had told the Navajos as they were building their there's little stone houses, well, what are you going to do when you have to move? That wouldn't have made any sense to them because they didn't move. Now, I don't know how well that plays with you, so just Google John McAfee, as in McAfee antivirus, and just John McAfee and cryptocurrency, and I'm sure you'll find the article from today where he gives his thoughts on this brave new world and how it's about so much more than what the current value is of the Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency for that matter when compared to a fiat currency. Yes, I know everybody wants to buy low and sell high. His point is that's not the most important thing about what we are staring in the face at the moment. So, anyway. Marcus Hutchins, he is the British researcher who stopped the WannaCry attack, has pleaded not guilty to 6 charges of creating the Kronos malware. Hutchins appeared in a Milwaukee court on Monday to enter his plea and will remain in the U.S. until his trial. Former Uber chief executive Travis Kalanick has said he's baffled about being sued by a company investor. Kalanick is being sued, we talked about this yesterday, by Benchmark Capital for alleged fraud. He said the suit wasn't in the firm's best interest. Certainly not in his best interest. The chief executive at Intel, Brian Krzanich, has become the latest CEO to step down from Donald Trump's Business Advisory Council. Krzanich cited the white supremacist protest in Charlottesville and the divided political climate in the U.S. Google has followed domain registrar GoDaddy in refusing service to white supremacist news site The Daily Stormer. Google said it does not want its services to incite violence. Facebook has also taken action against the Daily Stormer by deleting links to a post attacking Heather Heyer, a woman killed by one of the Charlottesville marchers. Our hearts and prayers go out to the folks in Charlottesville. Companies said the article violated its terms of service. The creator of the hit franchise Angry Birds, Rovio, and yes, we brought you Angry Birds when they first came out. I was so infatuated with that game for about 5 minutes, and then I don't think I've ever played it since. It's set to go public at a value of $2 billion. The company is looking to raise an additional $400 million. Snapchat has a new feature. It's called Crowd Surf, which lets you watch events like concerts through other people's snaps. The feature stitches together snaps so you can watch a gig from different parts of the crowd. Those are some clever fellas over at Snapchat. I got to give them that. Amazon is shutting down LoveFilm, its postal DVD rental service in the UK and Germany. Most people have switched from DVDs and Blu-ray to streaming, according to Variety magazine. So the service is no longer needed. Airbnb chief executive Brian Chesky has doubled down on the company's position on banning white supremacists from its platform. Chesky said white supremacism had no place in this world, and the firm barred Charlottesville marchers from its service. For somebody that grew up in the Deep South around all of this garbage, I'm amazed that it's still a part of society today. But I guess hate always has been, and hate always will be. Uber is finally bringing its in-app tipping option to the UK. Passengers can now give drivers a little extra cash, up to, what's that, £50, and will also be charged if they keep drivers waiting. Well, we've all heard that. The meter's running. Now, I don't know how many of you are familiar with MoviePass. I don't have that article in front of me. But when I tell you about it, it's going to kind of blow your mind away. I had no idea Let me see. Let me do that. Yeah, here's the article. Okay. Netflix co-founders' crazy plan. You ready for this? Pay $10 a month and go to the movies all you want. Now, we're not talking about the movies that you stream into your home. You've been doing that for $10 a month forever. MoviePass wants to subsidize your film habit, letting you go to the movie theater, the actual, the way movies were meant to be seen, once a day for about the price, once a day for a month, all month, for about the price of a single ticket. How can they do this? As movie theaters struggle with tepid sales, why? Oh, yes, because of the streaming business. All right. As movie theaters struggle with tepid sales, Michelob has an extreme proposal for how to get more people back into the seats. Because let's face it, the movie theaters, they make their real money off that $25 barrel of popcorn and those $5 soda pops, right? All right. Let them come to all the showings they want, one a day, all month long, for about the price of a single ticket each month. Low and early Netflix executive now runs a startup called MoviePass. They plan to drop the price of the company's movie ticket subscriptions on Tuesday to $9.95. The fee will let customers get into one show, one movie of your choice every day at any theater in the U.S. that accepts debit cards. No, you're not paying with your debit card. It's just something to do with the technology that allows you to flash your smartphone and they can scan the deal as if it were a debit card. MoviePass will pay. This is where it starts to kind of fall apart in my mind and not make good sense. MoviePass will pay theaters the full price of each ticket used by subscribers, excluding 3D or IMAX screens. Now, let's face it, MoviePass could lose a lot of money subsidizing people's movie habits. So the company also raised cash on Tuesday by selling a majority stake to Helios and Matheson Analytics, a small publicly traded data firm in New York. The companies declined to comment on terms of the financing, but said MoviePass intends to hold an initial public offering by March. Ted Farnsworth, Chief Executive Officer at Helios and Matheson, said the goal is to amass a large base of customers and then collect data on viewing behaviors. That information could then be used to eventually target advertisements or other marketing materials to subscribers. It's no different than Facebook or Google, Farnsworth said. The more we understand our fans, the more we can target them. Theater operators should certainly welcome any effort to increase sales. The top 4 cinema operators, led by AMC Entertainment, lost $1.3 billion in market value early this month after a disappointing summer. The number of tickets sold in the U.S. and Canada last year declined slightly, while box office revenue rose just 2% thanks to pricier tickets, according to a Motion Picture Association of America trade group. The cost of a ticket has almost doubled in the last 2 decades, according to the website Box Office Mojo. The average price is about $9 this year, though it can be much higher in some cities. MoviePass was founded in 2011, originally with a business model similar to a gym membership. The company hoped to turn a profit from subscribers who paid $30 or more per month but didn't use the service often enough to justify the cost. Lowe, a fixture of the home video business who helped get Netflix off the ground and served as president of rental kiosk operator Redbox, was named CEO last year. The privately held company declined to disclose subscriber numbers or financial information. Lowe said the data-based business model is still years in the future. With the new strategy, MoviePass, which is happening right now, hopes to resolve what Lowe sees as the biggest factor to blame for the theater industry's decline. He said the high price of tickets, not competition from Netflix or Amazon's Prime Video service, is a big part of what's keeping people away. People really do want to go more often. They just don't like the transaction. So I'm going to go get a movie pass today. I mean, my kids love to go to the movies. They often ask me, hey, Dad, can we go to the movies? And well, guys, we got Netflix, we got Amazon Prime, and we have the Kodi software on the Amazon Fire Stick. So you could probably stream one of 10,000 different movies from the living room. Yeah, but Dad, we like to go to the movies. You know, are you like that? Some people just really enjoy the experience of going into a theater, and especially in the summer here in Phoenix where it's so nice and cool, and then they lower the lights, and the movie itself is truly bigger than life, you know? I don't care how big a flat screen you got hanging on your wall, it's not quite the same experience as going to the movies. Now, we're a generation who grew up going to the movies. Our kids, maybe not so much. So what will the next generation hold as the ideal? I don't know. With the closing of malls all across America, are we about to start to see the closing of theaters? I just heard it mentioned the other night on Shark Tank that someone made a snide remark to our dear friend Mr. Cuban, and he owns, I'm trying to think of the movie theater chain that he owns. They're losing money hand over fist, so sorry about that, Mark. John is with us. John, I see that you're logged in, but I don't see your microphone. So it may be that you have it unplugged on purpose. But whenever you're ready, if you'll plug it in, I'll try to keep an eye on it over there. And as soon as you're plugged in and you have a microphone that I can open up, I will open it up for you, okay? Alright, so we'll be waiting for you. Okay. So, I mean, would you not pay $10 for the privilege of going to the movies every day of the month? I mean, let's say you're retired, or, I don't know, you're on vacation, or whatever. I mean, to be able to go to the movies every day of the month for $10, the whole month. I'm not talking $10 a day. I'm talking you pay $10 per month. You get a pass that lets you go to the movies. I mean, are there 30? There's probably not 30 different movies out every month. I mean, you literally would see every movie that ever came out if you wanted to use it. So, yeah, let me check here and see. Letting John know that his mic's not plugged in. Hang on 1 second. Hey, John, it seems as if your mic's not plugged in.
Hello, Dwayne. How you doing?
Hi, it doesn't seem that...
Coming on.
You,
Coming on.
well, I can see you're logged in, but it doesn't appear that your mic's plugged in.
Sorry, no, I was just actually doing it, but I just was fixing something right before I came on. I wanted to get it done.
Okay, and...
I'm ready to come on right now.
Oh, okay. All right, I've got the audience on hold.
Did you get a call from Ashley?
No, I didn't. And,
Yeah, no, look, she's pretty reliable, and I did tell her the situation that, because I didn't know exactly. I thought maybe you got something from the tax people.
I did, and I told Tom about it a month ago, and he he won't respond to emails or phone calls or text messages, and I don't understand.
Yeah, there's a procedure in the hospital. It's just almost back to work now.
Oh, I had no idea. Yeah, no, I won't say anything, but my God, I don't know what to do. I mean, they're demanding payment.
Ashley called you this afternoon for sure. As soon as I finish the show with you, I'll get on the phone to her, and I'll fix it with you, okay?
All right, thanks, Sean.
And Dwayne, when you go to chat, maybe later on this evening, just when you got a minute, can you, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to go through this new headphone I got. It's very complicated with the controls.
Okay.
There's actually a control where I can blank both the mute and you out at the same time, and then there's another one that's just mute. And I want to make sure when I'm on mute that I've got the right thing, just in case.
Okay.
I think when you called yesterday, it will put me on.
Okay.
You could hear something. I don't know.
Yeah, I could hear the TV in the background or something. Okay. All right. I'll see you in a minute.
So I mean, I presume anytime you hear that, if I'm not on, you can just shut it out.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, this is Dwayne, and some great things going on with San Jose. Unfortunately, very frustrating because it's taking a little bit longer. But we will get the queues out this week, starting this week.
Okay.
And roughly speaking, my big investor, he would have put in a couple of million, more than a couple of million by the end of this week. And we'll probably be able to say that that's the sort of preliminary investment by him. And then in about 2 weeks, once we get on the bulletin board, we'll be able to report that he's doubled his investment. I think that'll be quite a big deal when that happens.
Okay. All right.
And he's got a following as well, and the total package that he's bought to the company is about $5 million, which is not too shabby.
Sounds great. All right, let me get back to the audience. I got them on hold.
And we'll be able to get the silver property completed. We've already got the contracts already drawn up to finish the acquisition of the silver property. I think that's going to be a big move for us. And also, I don't want to mention this just yet, but there's a stock called Novo Resources, which has gone from 50 cents to about $4.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we could mention that once the news is out on Saturday and the silver property is in the news, we could start making some comparisons between
Sure.
Saturday and make a stronger case for it.
Okay. I got the audience on hold, John. I got to go. Okay. Sorry, guys. Yeah, that new headset was creating some problems for him, but let me open the mic. And John, you got an open mic.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you good. Welcome to the show.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Thanks very much. Well, look, it's kind of been an interesting day so far because we had, I would say, we've, as you know, we've been quite bullish with this rally that has unfolded out of nowhere, and really from a falling knife bottom. But we did have a kind of a whole night of basing out, and then we started this rally on Friday, which we were very positive about. And basically, I initially, because, obviously before North Korea backed down, it looked like, it was going to be Armageddon this week. So I obviously, before that happened, said I thought we'd rally into late Monday afternoon and, possibly run into trouble then. But obviously, I said to people that the market was actually, and I think I said it on the show, there's something going on here, because the market obviously knows there's not going to be some kind of confrontation. And I did say that, if this thing was resolved, the stocks could explode higher. We're not at that stage yet, but certainly the stocks are accelerating higher, or not accelerating. They're edging higher more or less now, and there has been a slight arcing of this trend to the upside, and this little pullback actually, assuming that we continue higher, could be a sort of pause that refreshes and could give the market more upside to potentially accelerate into the end of the week, because I don't think the penny's really dropped yet. Trump, unfortunately, sort of is the victim of a gotcha every day by the hatred networks, and he really can't. He's damned if he does, and he's damned if he doesn't. If he'd overdone it on Saturday, and he probably would have been criticized for that. Then he does it on Monday, he gets criticized for that, and it's very unfortunate. But and then these spineless CEOs are running off this board is just pathetic. Look, what is he going to do? He's come out and he's just denounced everybody, and they're still leaving. I mean, give me a break. What's the guy supposed to do? It's pathetic, and they should be staying on this board to make their voices heard, and instead of trying to play to their audience, which is typical. So remember, it's what's the date today? 15th.
Yes.
Yeah, 15th. Okay, it's only 6 days now till August 21st. So let's call it a week, 5 trading days or so, 4 or 5 trading days. So there is still the possibility that we could have a blow off of some significance here in the next few days, because it appears, look, this is breaking news this morning that North Korea isn't going to do anything, but it's a win for Trump. And he's, everything that everybody's criticizing for doing, using bluster and bombastic comments and all that, appears to have worked. So, he may get some credit for that in the next few days. He may not. But if he does, he will. It could help the market. It could help the market a lot. And it could, there's something else that could come out that could really move the market. At the moment, the FANGs are not performing very well. They're just not getting that energy to the upside. But that could, if they started doing that, then I think you'd get the upward surge that I wouldn't rule out. Put it that way. And the semiconductors are acting really well. Remember look, supposing what if he comes out and says something about the healthcare deal, maybe he's close to getting something passed. That would be enough, in my view, to probably send the market into a pretty big up move, because the pharmaceuticals have been sort of AWOL in the last week or so, i.e. not participating. And if they start coming into the mix again, that could really move the needle. So that's kind of my thought on things right now. Incidentally, dry ships, which we basically called from the recent lows. I didn't mention it really on the show. I should have probably a couple of times, but it's been so volatile. It's been a kind of a tough deal to get a handle on. But I did say that it has considerable upside from here. And the last time we said that, it went to $100. Now, I'm not, listen, this is an incredibly risky stock. I'm not recommending this. I'm just saying it's out there. We are long at the moment from the last low down at about $1.30, $1.24. I think we went long dollar somewhere around there. And it's up to about 370 at the moment. You know, I don't want to miss another move that could be dramatic. I don't think we can. I don't think. Look, you can never say never, but there are very, very few shares out on this stock right now because it's been split so many times. It's very, very tight, and they could move this thing big time. And you know, remember, at the end of a run, when you get to the sort of run for the roses kind of up, you know, you do tend to get dramatic things. Sometimes you get stocks that go crazy. That's usually a sign we're getting near the top. And the other sign is when stocks get cut in half or get, you know, major haircuts like Priceline. And, you know, it's kind of interesting because when the news came out on Netflix, you know, you couldn't get enough of this stuff. I mean, you know, when you get that really overwhelmingly bullish news, the stock just keeps going up, and it did keep, you know, it kind of, and everybody in the world is like trying to get long Netflix or cover their shorts, and then all of a sudden, you know, we got this last downturn that came out of nowhere, Tuesday, Wednesday, on the Korea deal, and Netflix has been totally hobbled since then, and actually can't get much of a bid at the moment. So it's the fact that Netflix is down today and is substantially down off the lows is quite a big deal. Now, what does happen when you get a move like that, and we get a huge gap higher after the first run, you sometimes get a test of that gap, so it comes down to sort of where the gap started. You know, I like Clovis a lot, and the same thing happened with Clovis. You know, we gapped up, we sort of went from 86 right up to about 98 or 96, and then we came back down to that 85, 86 there, and then, you know, we basically come down sort of towards the gaps. I haven't looked at Clovis the last few days, to be honest with you, but you know what I mean. So what I would be watching for here with Netflix is a possible upturn, maybe later today or tomorrow. If that happens, that could be, you know, then you have almost all the fangs sort of back in line, possibly ready to break out. Now, there's also Amazon put in a bit of a top this morning. It kind of reminds me of the dollar yesterday. The dollar kind of put in a bit of a spike, and it looked like it might go down, and that spike got taken out, and now the dollar went quite a bit higher. If these early spikes on NVIDIA and the fangs get taken out to the upside later today or overnight going into tomorrow, then you could have a pretty good rally into the end of the week, and possibly into our you know, August 21 sort of timeline. And it's not necessarily the day, it's in and around the August 21, but and remember, we're right here at the 15th today, which is, you know, on the one thing I would say is this: if the market, you know, doesn't do what I expect, or not what I expect, what I'm just keeping an option open on, if the market turns down this afternoon, I think I would want to be short, and I would want to be long the VIXs, the UVXY, and the VXX, and TZA, and FAZ, because it would make this rally suspect. And by the way, there is kind of a major cycle change today, right here today, that could hobble the market. So now turning to the metals, you know, I think we mentioned that we thought that there was a bit of a high a few days ago, and we are actually short the metals at the moment. We went a little bit long, and then went short again on one of our rules on a breakdown, and I would be looking to cover the metal. In fact, the gold's starting to pick up a little bit here, and the silver is actually picking up a bit too, which is good. Now, and if we were to get a rebound in the metals really strongly from here, that would be very, very good, because it would kind of be a kind of what I call a booster buy. Now, another thing, this snap, which is down to about $12. Remember, I think we mentioned on this show that there was a similarity to Facebook when it went public. I mean, Snap isn't something the cat dragged in. It's a pretty, it's got a lot of followers, and it's had a very good IPO, really, except it got hit. Had a better IPO than Facebook, actually. It kind of rallied. Facebook never rallied. When it went public, Facebook went straight down from 45 down to 18.
Went to 18. Yeah, I had a prediction in at 12, and it never got that low. And I was glad, because I didn't want to see anybody lose money. That's what I valued the company at, was 12 a share. But buyer swooped in at 18, and now it's history.
Exactly. And the interesting thing about it is, look, when Facebook got down to 18, it was pretty much written off by the media. I mean, it wouldn't have been 18 otherwise. I mean, let's face it, it fell from 45 down to 18, which is a pretty drastic performance. But look, this is a tip for all the listeners out there. You should really pay. Sometimes when you get a high-profile IPO, it pays. It really pays to follow these things very carefully, because Google, when Google went public, remember what happened? It kind of stumbled a little bit, and then it took off and never looked back. And one of the best examples of this was Baidu, BIDU, which is a Chinese search engine. It sort of had because it had a very high profile launch, with a lot of fanfare on Wall Street, and proceeded to plunge, and was forgotten about for a while, and then all of a sudden it bottoms, and take a look at the bottom and multiply that to where we are on Baidu today, and you get some idea of what a meteoric rise that stock has had. And it's been, one of the best performing stocks really the last 10, 15, more than 10 years. So I kind of felt the same thing was going to happen with Alibaba, and it did. And it actually got down to, I think, the 50s or 60s, which was really kind of beyond most people's comprehension, because, it sort of did the same thing as Facebook. It basically got cut in half. And look at where Baidu is today, and it's kind of sneaked up there without anybody really knowing about it, and it's only starting to get kind of, highlighted right now that it's up in the clouds, kind of thing. So that's Alibaba. So and it's obviously getting a lot of help from Amazon, being in the same game. But this guy has been Jack Ma. He's a very shrewd guy, and he's been kind of quiet, very quiet, until recently even, and yet the stock has performed fantastically, and so has Baidu. So definitely,
they're starting to come under some pressure because of accusations that so much of the goods that they sell are counterfeit goods. Knockoffs of the Gucci handbags, that kind of thing.
Sure. Well, they're trying to battle that, and he came out recently, and probably won. Actually, that's kind of where the stock took off. When he started addressing that, that sort of helped everything. So now the energy trying to turn here. Obviously, look, all I can say is if we get another inventory decline this afternoon and tomorrow, probably going to change the game on the oil, and that to higher, and that may help the markets also, because the oil sector has not participated in this rally either. So if we got some sort of huge surprise today, and I'm not saying we will, but just something to consider, because we've had I mean, right now we've drawn down, I think, about 66 million barrels, which is quite a lot of oil. Certainly have made a big dent in look, the SPR is only 500 million barrels rather. If you took out 66 million barrels, I mean, you haven't taken that down off the SPR, but you've basically taken it down off the reserves. So you've made quite a dent in the in the actual oil surplus. And apparently overseas it's more like 100 million. So it's probably getting up towards, and that was a few weeks ago. So it's possibly as much as 200 million barrels worldwide has been kind of taken out of the system by these cuts, and and by the fact that I guess they're importing less oil now, and maybe exporting more. So it's kind of affecting the inventories here in the U.S. And if that keeps happening, and it may well, and don't forget the demand has been quite good as well recently, almost record use of gasoline, etc. So the situation is it only takes, look, if the Saudis come out and do something more, which they're probably going to do out of the blue, if the inventories come in again as a surprise, then I think the oil might finally get the energy to go through 50 and maybe change the whole equation going into the fall. Now, the other thing that's really interesting is the natural gas. I can absolutely tell you that I don't think I've ever seen a summer where, since 2002, or when natural gas went to $18. Remember that, Dwayne? Mm-hmm. You and I were that was in Katrina. Mm-hmm. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a hot thing to short. Remember, at $18, but it turned out to be a great short. But it was very, very scary shorting that at the time, because it was, natural gas was a very big contract, and being wrong could have cost you not thousands but tens of thousands almost, on that thing. Certainly, if you were caught short in before Katrina, it would have cost you dearly. So, but the natural gas, I'm just checking the last Thursday, see what happened there. We had 28 billion cubic feet of gas. Look, normally in the summer you get 100 billion regularly, almost every week, surplus. It's down to 28 billion. Why is that? Possibly because air conditioning is using more natural gas. Secondly, trucks may be using more natural gas these days. So it's sort of taken the use, and then they're changing more and more to electricity generation to natural gas. So the point being is we had massive trillion type drawdowns in the winter, right? And we have been unable to replenish the reserves of natural gas this summer, like previous years. And it's actually been declining. The last few summers have been getting leaner and leaner on the inventories. So I think, in support of what I've just been saying about oil breaking out to the upside, I think natural gas, certainly if it breaks over 3, it's probably going to be a buy. It's probably a buy on dips right now, and the natural gas could be a big performer. Last winter was the last couple of winters actually where natural gas didn't perform that great, and this winter may be different. It may be the winner, maybe a big winner, especially if we get our mini ice age. That could start happening this winter. So if we get all that, if we get a really cold winter, maybe colder than any winter we've had in quite a while, plus the inventory declines and everything else on the oil, we may actually see much higher prices going into 18 on the oil, possibly $70, maybe even 80. It really could happen. and I certainly feel that way right now.
This has been quite the sell-off this week. Just over the last couple days, and we've dropped $2. We had a high up over 49, and this morning we came down and touched 47. Yeah.
Well, it's sort of a bit of a head scratcher because like the inventories are down a lot, and all I can say is maybe some surplus coming in at Cushing that's causing this sell-off in the gas, in the oil rather. But we'll see what happens after today. I mean, if it kind of implies today's number is going to be bad, but that's been the expectations for the last few weeks, and it's been the opposite. So today could be a very pivotal day for the oil, and maybe that could affect the market if the oil tanks, if the oil breaks here further, that could definitely drag the market down a little bit. So.
Okay.
Okie doke. Well, listen, thanks for the invite.
Thank you so much, John. All right. Have a great afternoon, and I'll look for that phone call this afternoon, please.
Right. You're welcome. Much obliged.
Really
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. We are going to go straight into our good word for the day right here, right now. We're going to talk about shame-based thinking. This is part 1 of a little mini-series. Might touch on some painful areas for some folks, so hang on, okay? There's light at the end of the tunnel. Romans 12:2 says, "Let God change the way you think." When you've been physically, emotionally, or sexually abused, it undermines your self-worth. You think, if someone did that to me, there must be something wrong with me. You feel like your soul is soiled, like you're damaged goods. But the truth of the matter is, you're not. These 2 scriptures are from God's lips to your heart. First one is Jeremiah 31:3-4. It says, "I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have drawn you with unfailing kindness. I will build you up again, and you will be rebuilt." Isaiah 43:18-19. "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." Isaiah 43:18-19. Whatever happened to you was bad. Maybe as a child something happened. Maybe it was a divorce. Maybe it was an issue with employment, with finances. But just because something bad happened to you does not mean that you're bad. Today God says, "Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. For I am the Lord your God." That's Isaiah 43:1-3. Shame and depression go hand in hand. And while doctors can prescribe medication for depression, there is no remedy for shame. Think about that. You're depressed, you have anxiety, you can go to the doctor, he can write a script, you go to the pharmacist, and if it doesn't make your limbs fall off, then there is a good chance that you might overcome the depression and the anxiety, and you could feel better. Shame is a much different malady. if you will. There is no medicine for shame except the medicine of God's Word. So instead of believing your thoughts and your emotions, stand on God's Word regardless of how you feel. Being unashamed of who you are, being ashamed of who you are is like being perpetually punished, except you're doing it to yourself. That's the enemy at work. The greatest battleground of the enemy is your mind. If he can convince you that you're bad, that you're no good, that you have no worth or value in this world, that if in fact the world would be better off without you, and if you take a look at the increase in the suicide rate over the last few decades, and in particular over the last decade, he's making some inroads. And we, as the body of Christ, we have to stand up not only for ourselves, but for those around us. Be on the watch out for that individual in your family, in your neighborhood, in your church, who doesn't quite seem the same. There's something amiss, there's something wrong, there's something going on, there's something happening. Don't be a busybody, don't be nosy. Inquire with loving kindness. Talk. Don't ask them to lay on the couch and ask them what they think about it. Hold on for me 1 second. Talk to them. You might be the only hope they have. God is ultimately the one who has the medicine that can bring them out of this pit of despair, brought on by the shame, brought on by the fact that something bad happened to them and they've convinced themselves, or the enemy has now convinced them, that they are bad. They're not bad. You're not bad. Bad things happen to good people every single day. Stand on God's Word, not on your thoughts, not on your emotions, whether you're dealing with yourself and your own issues or if you're trying to help someone else. Again, being ashamed of who you are is like perpetually punishing yourself, except you're doing it to yourself. You're not being punished by anyone else or anything. Let go of the past. The simple solution: let God change the way you think. How do you do that? Read the scriptures I shared with you today. Read the scripture before it and scripture after it. And just talk with Him. Let Him know where you hurt. He's God. He created you. He already knows. But just open the conversation with Him. Let Him speak to your heart. Let Him speak to your mind. Let Him bring peace and calm. He promised that He would. He's not a man that He would lie. I want you to feel better. That is our good word for the day. All right. let us take a look. I already put up the Concierge Trade Alerts. Markets are so flat, so we'll fly through these pretty quick. Alright, if you didn't get a screenshot, grab it now. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Alright, I just marked up crude oil. The email last night said to consider selling 47.40. We got down to a swing low of 47.02. That's $380 per contract. That's what the market made available. We never get out at the swing high or swing lows simply because we trail our stop. And when you trail your stop, you're going to almost always leave a little something on the table. Okay? There was no long trade to the upside. No trigger. Okay? Very quiet. So there's crude. We already took a look at gold. On gold, the email said to consider selling 12.79. We got to a swing low at 12.72.70. So let's see, 12.70. I rounded up to 73. Yeah. So actually would have been $630 per contract available on this move down. Now if we trigger on the long side, that's going to be up here. Okay. Will that happen today? I don't know. You know, this all has to do with that big psychological number overhead, $1,300. The last time we got up into this area, couldn't do it. Came within ticks, got turned around and sent back to the low 12s. Now we're making another run. And we said last week, will we get through it on the first move up? Probably not. Why? Because the sellers sitting there at 1,300 are going to pound it and pound it back down. Buyers have to take a stand. It takes financial commitment for prices to rise. Prices can fall simply because buyers stop buying. So we'll see what happens in the coming days. So that covers gold, which takes us back to the S&P. Okay. Now on the S&P, I drew fibs from the low to the high, and right now we're sitting atop the 24% retracement, and I drew a trend line right up here. So we've got a little bit of an ascending triangle here. Price looks as though it wants to drop through the bottom. We'll see. Let's go back to this chart. And these are still last week's zones. We talked a lot about this week's zones yesterday. We'll reveal them all on Thursday, as we do. Now, the alert came out last night at 21:30. 21:30, right there. Okay. And the email said, oh, thanks, Dieter. The email said, consider selling 24.69. 24.69. Important prices, important areas are almost always tested. Okay, first move down, the swing low was 65.25. So if it were 65, that would have been 4 points. That's 3.75. 3.75 times $50 per point. This next move down took us to a swing low at 24.60. So that's 9 points. Times $50 per point. So that's a $450 per contract move. Remember, the cost to trade one S&P 500 E-mini contract is $500. You control, well, right now, current price is $24.62. Let's just take a look and see what that number is right now. Very simple equation. 24.62.50. That's the price, 24.62.50. Yeah. Times $50. $50 per point. So for $500, you're controlling $123,125 in best of breed S&P 500 equity. Man, I just don't know how it gets any better than that. On the Dow, let's see what happened there. Again, these are still last week's weekly trading zones. Partners get them every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. And then on Thursday, we reveal this week's zones to the community at large. So on the Dow, last night's email said to consider selling 21,980. 21,980. That's right here. Alright, our swing low. Now we had a swing low here, and then price rallied all the way back up to the trigger and came back down again. Important prices, important areas, almost always tested. So on this first move down, we got to 21,690, 21,962. That's 18 points. Takes 20 to get your goal for the day. And then this time we dropped all the way to 951. So that's 29 points. Price gets back above the trigger one more time. Right here. And on this next drop, we put in a swing low at 947. So that's 33. And that's the Dow. Okay. soybeans. Why do we have soybeans on an hourly and everything else on a 30-minute? I don't know. But let's fix it. There we go. Oh, we're probably trying to compensate for that huge sell-off when the WASDE report came out last week. These fibs don't matter now. Look at that thing. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So 2130. That's going to be right there. Last night's email on soybeans said to consider selling 934. $9.34. Okay. Soybeans pay $50 per point. Swing low so far 9.2575, so we'll call it 26. So 26 to 34, that's 8 points. At $50 per point. That's a $400 per contract move. Again, you're not going to get out the swing high or swing low, because if you're trailing your stop, you're going to still be right behind it. You know, and at some point, depending on how closely you trail, price will, because we go leg, retrace, leg, retrace, leg, retrace, leg, and it's going to retrace, and it's going to take you out with your profits. You're going to be very happy, and you're going to move on. We've already done crude. Let's go to bonds. Okay. 2130. There we go. Right next to the little doji. Okay. Alright, so on bonds, last night's email said to consider selling 154.11. 154.11. Right there. $154.11. Bonds pay $31.25 per tick. Do not recommend them for those who are just starting out in trading. And unless you have a particular knack for trading bonds, I'm not 100% certain that you should be trading bonds. Okay, I'll leave it at that. It's entirely up to you. The swing low was at 24. There's 32 ticks to a point, so 24 to 32 is 8 plus 11. That gives you 19 ticks times 31.25 per tick. And then on the long side for bonds, no long trigger. only thing we haven't covered is the NQ and the Russell. Let's go to the Russell first. Russell 2130. Okay. All right, on the Russell, we said to consider selling 1398, which is right here. And as you can see, important prices, important areas are almost always tested. And here's another perfect example of that. Okay. First move down took us to a swing low at 1394.40. We'll call it 1395. That's $150 per contract available. Price gets back above the trigger and down it goes again. This time we put in a swing low so far at 132. I've got a line there. Come on. 1382.60. So we'll call it 1383. 1383. And we're talking $750 per contract available in that move down. Okay, and last on the list is going to be the NQ. Which was pretty tepid considering we had $2,000 per contract moves 2 days back to back. 2130 right there. Now if you go to emini.cfrn.net, at the very top of the page you will see baseball player, and underneath there it will tell you how you can take a 1-week free trial of the Concierge Trade Alerts. These trades that I recap each and every day on the radio show can be in your inbox tonight, can be in your inbox for the next 5 consecutive trading days. There's no automatic rollover when the trial runs out. When the 5 days are up, they simply stop. If you then want to continue with an actual subscription, you have to contact us 949-42-EMINI or email us support@cfrn.net. All right, on the NQ, consider selling 59.24. It's going to be somewhere right about here. There we go. So 59.24. Okay. And the swing low. 58.95. 50. So there, 58.95. We just round that right up to 96 to make things simple. In doing so, 58.96 before and 24, so that'll be 28 points. Times $20 per point. Just shy of $600 per contract available. Not such a bad move, come to think of it. We had a 55-point move, which was over $1,000 here, and then now this is when we measured it here. This thing kept going. We had probably close to a $2,000 rise in the NQ yesterday, but so far NQ fairly quiet today. Alright, so that covers the NQ. We've covered the bonds, the gold, the crude, the S&P, the Dow, the soybeans. We've done it all. Every last bit. Okay. Alright, guys. That's going to do it for today. For this Tuesday, the 15th day of August, 2017. If you have not taken the free trial, go to our sign-up page, apply.cfrn.net. That's all it takes. Name, email address. If you're really, really serious, put your phone number in. We'll get you some additional information. Apply.cfrn.net. You can also email us anytime, support@cfrn.net. You can call us anytime, 949-423-6464. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.